All right, let's begin. We're starting so late for a weeknight stream. I said it was bound to happen, especially with yesterday's bigger stream. And I knew things were gonna be going on here tonight, but that's fine. We may just only hit this for like an hour or an hour and a half, a section or two, depending on what the game has to give to us. I feel like I have a headache also coming on, which is not great, but I'm gonna try to beat it. I'm gonna try to beat it with an hour stream. Of the devil, the things happening. I was gonna do a recap, but we don't have time. We simply don't have time. Watch the last video stream in the video. Watch the last stream in the series of the devil. Are we back in the courtroom? Oh. Are we already doing the part 2 of the trial? Oh shit, I gotta lock in then. Damn. Okay, I'll watch audio as we get through. I might have to adjust what we do. Okay, yeah, so we are in trial, I guess. Part 2? Trial. So you and your partner were the second officers to arrive on the scene? Oh, am I not clicked in? That's correct, ma'am. When the 10999 went out, my partner and I were relatively center city. Am I still not clicked? Why is this not working? We were within jogging distance of the site after an elevator ride, so we proceeded on foot. This is not working. 1 second. 1 second. Does the game hate me? This is not what I need right now, game. Here, 1 sec. Okay, let me just close the game and then retry. I don't know why. I need to make sure that Ooh it. Perfect start. Perfect start, you could say, to the stream. So my chair's sounding extra squeaky. Oh my god. What a terrible night. Okay, let me try this. Maybe me doing absolutely nothing will fix the situation. Okay, I think I worked it. I fixed it. We're fine? I don't know what I did wrong, but... Alright. Like I said, lock in, focus up. Let's go. Courtroom. 480. So, I'll read it again. You and your partner were the second officers to arrive on the scene? That's correct, ma'am. When the 1099 went out, my partner and I were relatively center city. We were within jogging distance of the site after an elevator ride, so we proceeded on foot. Roger still hasn't shown. I also gotta move the mic. I'm gonna move the mic arm up slightly. There we go. Emma must have rushed London to adjust to the reshuffled docket. Oh yeah, so in the last stream, Emma, a little flustered. She, called the one guy, and he was busy. Kissing hands, shaking babies, or whatever. I assume he was rushed. He does seem somewhat distracted. We arrived on the premises at 10:21 p.m. At 10:27 p.m., we assisted Officer Rogers in completing his arrest of the suspect. What did that involve? Reading rights to an unconscious man? That's a good bit. We helped Rogers finish cuffing the suspect, is what I meant. His hands were shaking. Your witness, counselor? Oh. I'd like to ask London why he wasn't explicit about all this yesterday, but complaining about Detective not being forthcoming with the defense isn't exactly a winning strategy. He didn't hesitate to show me his involvement with the mafias yesterday. What's he got left to hide? where your body cam's on, I'll say. Dumb question, detective, but did you have your body camera on? Officers aren't required to turn on body cameras when responding to an emergency, counselor. And detectives aren't required to wear body cameras at all. Like I said, dumb question. Why would I press that then? I'm gonna stay. That feels like a trap if I was to press more into it when... Why were you and your partner in Sunny City that night, detective? Well, to be honest, I hadn't eaten dinner yet and I was really in the mood for some kind of hot soup, you know? And my partner was kind enough to indulge me on taking a drive. That's all he's gonna say. It's not like I can call him a compromised witness just because he was in the area, but what the hell is there even to press when his answer is that simple? I'm almost tempted to... Should I do it? Oh, you know what? Fuck it. Was the soup any good, detective? I never got any, in the end. Had this hole-in-the-wall place in mind, but when we got there, turned out they'd gone out of business last month. It had been a while since I'd last stopped by. Guess I always knew they weren't that successful, but honestly, I thought it'd lose some of its charm if it got popular. Maybe if I hadn't been so selfish, they'd still be there. Or here. You never know how much you'll miss that 7 out of 10 restaurant till it's gone, you know? Yeah. Your Honor, relevance? It's not relevant, but it is poignant and deeply human. I'll allow it. Or I won't punish it, at least. Now ask a real question. Right away, Your Honor. That's good that we're not getting punished, right? That's funny. Let's see this. And how did you and your partner go about clearing the building? Took point, my partner covered me, checking the rooms behind us as we went. It was tense, searching rooms with that racket blaring from upstairs. You were still searching for suspects even though there was a 10999 on the 3rd floor? Roger said already reported the manner of his partner's death, counselor. We weren't going to run upstairs try to defibrillate. How was that report made? Over comms, around 10:17 p.m. Is it common practice to separate from one another when responding to a 10999? It's one of several valid approaches the department advises in critical scenarios. Did you ever lose sight of your partner? I might have. So she might have lost sight of you. Speculation, Your Honor? If I can't see you, you can't see me. That's not speculation, Your Honor. Just grade school logic. Hugh, overruled. Spill the deets, witness. Yes, me and my partner were separated as we cleared the building. For more than a minute, I'd say. Interesting. I guess I gotta do this and press, right? I guess I got it, yeah. But by any chance, did your partner have a body camera going? Perhaps out of a characteristic abundance of respect for the rules? Matter of fact, I believe she did. So, of the first 4 of our city's brave policemen to arrive at the scene of a crime, only one of them thought to turn their body camera on? It's my understanding that Rogers couldn't turn his on, as I had broken earlier in the week. And Tariq Chopin? I don't know why he didn't have his on. Does Emma know? Does Officer Rogers? Thank you for giving us all that to chew on, Detective London. Come on, give me a break. I was trying to be helpful. No, I mean it. Blackjack. I'm especially interested to hear you describe how my client was unconscious and helpless by the time he first appeared on any body cam. Shall we review that footage together? I wonder if we can pinpoint exactly how many wounds he received in between his arrest and when his mugshot was taken. Redirect, Your Honor. Really? What is she doing now? The prosecution called Detective London as their witness and asked their questions. Adonai just had the chance to ask her own questions during the cross-examination. After the cross-examination, the people can redirect if they have additional questions for the witness. So it isn't just one of them and one for us? One for them and one for us? More like an eye for an eye until justice is blind and bloody. She wants another round. Why? Just stalling? Detective London, are you aware of an ongoing police investigation for a figure known as the Hound of Icaria? Not stalling. approach, Your Honor. Wait, do I really get to say the line? Hold on, this is happening too fast. Okay. Oh, so you're a pro, and they're already here. This hound of Ikara is obviously some kind of case file that the Organized Crimes Department is working on. Detective London isn't qualified to speak on it. Homicide, organized crimes, is there that big of a difference? Depends on the career of the witness in question. Detective London, for example, spent 6 years at the Organized Crimes Unit. He what? You didn't know that? Where are you taking this, Emma? Ugh, I hate to admit it, but I think I need spoilers as well. If you ask him about this, what's he gonna say? That the Hound of Ikaria is an assassin who nope, that's Emma. It's that the Hound of Ikaria is an assassin who leaves calling cards at each of his kills, terrorizing the house's perceived enemies without shame. And that the lead suspect in those cases is a man around Sasuke's age and height, with gray-blue hair, a modded spine, and a large tattoo of a dog across his back. Sasuke, you vain son of a bitch. You got made with your shirt off? He sneezes. Bless you. You cannot let the jury hear that, Your Honor. But I really want to. If organized crimes wanted to arrest Sasuke, they would have done so already. He's on trial here today for these 5 counts and nothing else. The defense has once again claimed that their client is merely some veteran who's been victimized by greater forces, but the police believe that he's in fact the deadliest soldier the Ikaria have at their disposal. That's not irrelevant. No, it's just prejudicial as hell. Ugh, girls fighting, but obeying a legal precedent. But the tension, human drama. He'll just be giving a summary. Case file won't enter the record. So you won't even give me the chance to object to the evidence? Your Honor, if you do this, the jury will be spoiled within seconds. All my clients served up a mistrial before the day's through. And some other lucky adjutant will get to have all the rest of the fun. I've severed the jury's feed for the time being. I'd like to hear exactly what the witness has to say before ruling on this testimony's inclusion. But, Your Honor, the gallery is not your concern, nor a concern of justice. This trial will remain open to the public until such a time as I or the state feel it shouldn't be. Decision made. Thank you, Your Honor. What just happened? The jury's going to take a bathroom break. Emma will get to ask her questions, but in all likelihood, the adjutant will make sure they never hear the answers. So, we aren't any worse off? Sosuke might be. What do you mean? This gallery is filled to the brim with cops. They all think he killed Chopin. If London regales us all with the tales of the Hound's exploits on top of that... Don't worry, Sasuke. They can't do anything to you here. Because we're in a courtroom. I won't spend the rest of my life in this room, Sarah. And even if I could, I wouldn't. Detective London, if you would, please testify as to the... Oh, for real? Your Honor. What now? Hey, Rockford, that witness guy who flaked on you, made you look dumb? Yes? He's finally here. Thank you, Your Honor. I have no more questions for the witness at this time. Really? But The redirect fizzles out. Counselor, you want to snap it up? No, Your Honor. Dang, Detective London. Nobody wants to talk to your ass. Miss Rockford, let it go. She doesn't hold anything back in the courtroom, but only because that's what gives her the greatest chance of victory. If the jury wouldn't hear it either way, and she has no need to stall for time, she won't stoke the coals for the fun of it. So, if you hadn't fought against that redirect up to the very last moment... Bullet caught, huh? Yeah. Nothing impressive about putting my arm between the gun and my... heart? I was gonna say stomach. The analogy seems weaker, somehow. There he is. The man of the hour. The hero who put a stop to the Hound of Ikaria and brought justice to the city over the loss of its favored son, Tariq Chopin. Patrol Officer Rogers reporting for duty. You don't have to say that. Sorry. Then just, reporting for duty. Name and occupation. Patrol Officer Huey Rogers. Occupation, Patrol Officer. Date of birth June 16th. Blood type AB negative. Police officer, Lower Wards Patrol. Likes salt water, rosemary, graffiti art. Dislikes sand, marshmallows, and lottery. Can't stand mice. Wakes up at 5:30 a.m. Balance. Easily upset. He looks miserable. The former partner of Tariq Chopin. Apologies for earlier. It's fine. The court understands the city council had need for you. Of you. When I said my name wrong. Won't happen again. And your tardiness? What's that? Being hours late to this trial? Did I not set a reminder? Does seeing him here in the flesh jog your memory at all? No, not at all. I think this guy would be pretty hard to forget. You must have sustained quite the concussion then. As an appetizer. From what I saw, he's lucky nothing important leaked out of his ears. Shall we begin, Officer Rogers? Right, from where? The start. Oh, well, it was a pretty boring, normal night. Me and Chopin were just driving our route, windows down. He was always getting car sick if the windows weren't down. Then around 9:45 or so, my partner heard shots fired. So off we went. What does that mean? Well, shots echo down in the lower ward, so I wasn't too sure about the direction. But my partner was confident that it'd have something to do with the Blue Bloods. That area is a known hotspot. As we neared the street, we saw people slinking away from it. We got the message. People can sense that kind of trouble even when they don't know it. Something bad had gone down and no one wanted anything to do with it. The front door wouldn't budge. I peeked around into the alley, but the fire escape was out of commission. Then my partner, shot clean through the door handle. Chopin was that determined to get inside based on some echoed gunshots and a few context clues? Suppose context clues are most of what I used to find the place too, but... So when you arrived, the only way into the building was locked. Question mark? Yeah, and so we had, strong reason to believe the shooter was still in the vicinity. I was in favor of waiting for backup at this point, but my partner, he was convinced the place was dead empty already. So he was moving a good bit faster than me right up until we got to the second floor, and we heard a loud slam. A slam? What kind of slam? Like slam? Or like salam? Or like slam? I don't know, it was loud though. And Chopin gets all deadly serious and insists I stay, and he goes ahead. Up to the third floor. After Biddy yelled down at me, saying everyone was dead and I should come join him. That's when I heard another heavy thud. I didn't know it was the sound of my partner's body hitting the floor. But I put two and two together when I saw that man there standing over him. Let the record show that the witness has finally identified the defendant. If you heard a noise at a crime scene, the natural conclusion would be that you were not alone. But if Chopin thought they weren't alone, why would he insist on splitting up? If you heard a noise at a crime scene, the natural conclusion would be that you were not alone. But if Chopin thought they weren't alone, why would he insist? Wait, the final thing, but if Chopin thought they weren't alone, to prevent escape then? That's it. Chopin must have wanted to split up so that they could cut off possible routes of escape. Perhaps I can shed some light on the late officer's actions. With more speculation, with some helpful theorizing, capped off with hard evidence. Officer Chopin explicitly told his partner to stay behind. And the only reason he'd do that is if he thought it would let them catch an escaping suspect. Why would he think a suspect was escaping if he heard a noise upstairs? He wouldn't. He'd only think a suspect was escaping if the noise he heard was... dumpster, Magus, fire escape. Right? The fire escape? If you heard a fire escape slam, wouldn't you come running? Fire escapes do not slam, counselor. Oops. Whoops. I guess for a second I thought she might go for that one. Alright, max bet, dumpster. Very heavy and loud. Whoops. I should have read that part. Yep, and the dumpster makes noise. That's all me. Whatever, I got my chips back. We're fine. Don't even worry about it. a noise that came from the alley. What kind of noise would that be? A noise like the one I was treated to when Detective London clumsily shot the dumpster out there. Hey now, it left my ears ringing too, you know? What are you even talking about? Hello, it's going well, how are you doing? I'm talking about an exit plan. In other words, how the real culprit managed to flee the scene. How does a dumpster lid relate to some imaginary suspect's great escape? 1963, 172 minutes. The only way to get from the 3rd floor to the street without going past the 2 cops clearing the building would be by going down the fire escape and into the alley. Doing good as well. Good to hear. Good to hear. A fire escape that's broken. Alright. Sounds good. So no one could climb up it, but anyone could jump from it onto the dumpster below. Oh, yeah. I can kind of see it. That must be a dead pixel you're seeing, Your Honor. Were there boot prints on top of the dumpster? A dent in the lid? Well, that's... No, of course not. So there's no proof, no reason at all to think that anyone jumped down onto it. And no reason for us to entertain this train of thought. Damn it, I've got nothing. Even if there had been damage to the dumpster, I could never prove it was caused by a fleeing culprit. Adonai, I'm thinking. I know, but might this not possibly be the time for you to stop thinking? And instead, flip the go board like you've told me to do before? Yeah, you gotta spin the chessboard. Sarah's on it. She knows. You're horribly misquoting me. But Emma says there's no proof that anyone fled the crime scene. But if there was proof of that, what would it look like? Proof that someone was in that room when the police first arrived, but not there when the police got to the 3rd floor. They would have had to take the fire escape if Rogers never saw them, and they couldn't have taken the fire escape without first opening the window. It's been bothering me since yesterday. I was sure those windows were closed when I left, but they've been open ever since the scene was secured. And I can't testify to that. The one time I know the truth and I want to get it to get out, but I can't admit it without screwing myself over. Adonai, any luck? Pardon the interruption, Your Honor. I have no objections at this time. Then the witness may continue. Please do. But rewind a bit first if you could, since we got off topic. And don't spare any detail. Tell the court exactly what you saw, felt, and heard that night. Of course, the witness is a trained officer of our city's prestigious police force. He'll gladly recount every minutia for us. Line by line. Like, every detail? Especially the irrelevant ones. Yes, sir, yes, sir. I did get a little in my head just now. Better listen through his whole testimony at least once before I start looking for holes. It was a quiet night, but then my partner heard gunshots. We headed for the nearest known Orca hotspot and arrived to find the building dead quiet. Doors locked. Checked the alley, but didn't see another way in. So Chopin shot off the lock through the handle, and we entered. Followed some kind of loud music up the stairs. Then there was a slam and my partner bolted upstairs. About a minute later, I heard a thud from upstairs and came running. To find the defendant standing over my partner's dead body. Something stand out to you, Adonai? Yeah, my ears pricked up a bit. The saying is perked up, is it not? What? Let me focus. Sound system. Fire escape. Okay, so sound system was the thing making the music that he had talked about, I think. Fire escape. Front door. It's quiet enough my partner heard gunshots. We headed for the nearest known Orca hotspot and arrived to find the building dead quiet. Door was locked. Checked the alley, but didn't see another way in. Followed some kind of loud music up the stairs. Then there was a slam and my partner bolted upstairs. About a minute later, I heard a thud from upstairs and came running. Sounds like quite the sensory overload, hearing it described in such detail. Yeah, could have been very overwhelming, but the five senses still bound by logic. He's claiming something that contradicts the crime scene as we know it. Does it have to do with the TV? Is it sound system found? Is it as basic as it was just making so much noise that you would have heard a gunshot? But I don't think. What is the door? I don't know. Shit. I feel like I'm gonna get fucked this one. Claiming something that contradicts the crime scene. Building was dead quiet. It's got to be the music thing because they're talking about. So I'm gonna assume it's the sound system and then one of these statements. We headed for the nearest known orca. Ride to find the building dead quiet. I don't think that's. Door was locked. I checked the alley. We didn't see another way in. Shot off the lock through the door and we entered. Sure. I mean, I don't think this is right. I don't think this is right, but I gotta... Heard throughout the building. God damn it. I probably need to... It was heard throughout the building is the important statement. I think it's gonna be the building was quiet, but you could hear it probably throughout the whole building. Flirting right in front of me. Pardon, normies? I should read this, right? Ah! I took a hit. Emma, was that supposed to be funny, counselor? You look like you need a laugh. Flirting right in front of me? Pardon? Normies, get overruled. Okay, let's go. I better stop making solid mistakes. I think that's just about ready to crash. Okay, I think we're fine. Sound system. We head for the nearest known orca. Arrive to find the building dead quiet. Okay, here we go. Sound system. Try this then. I wasn't confident enough picking this first. How could you have arrived to find the place dead quiet when there was a sound system blaring on the top floor? The witness must not have heard the sound system. This is a noisy city, even in the lower wards. But he did hear the music. He described it in his testimony just now. Followed with some kind of loud music up the stairs. So the building was dead quiet when you were outside, but you could hear music from the first floor? Oh, well, yeah, heard the music. Pretty much as soon as we stepped inside. Only after you stepped inside. Yeah, sturdy door, I guess? Your Honor, witnesses established that the front door was very secure and tightly locked. There's nothing strange about it blocking out some amount of sound. But it blocked out, like, all the sound. Once the door was open, the music was booming. The scene of the crime was a known Blue Blood property, yes? A safe house apartment complex of sorts, as I understand it. They must have made a number of modifications to the premises. That front door certainly looked like a newish addition. Check. Maybe they redid the windows too. I don't get it. I don't mind stating it plainly, Your Honor. That building has been thoroughly soundproofed. The building has been thoroughly soundproofed, Your Honor. You think the building was soundproofed? I know it was. I experienced it myself, stepping out of the lower wards and into its dingy nightclub vibe. That would explain why what the witness experienced, wouldn't it? Perhaps, but that wouldn't explain the building being dead quiet when they arrived. Not unless the window next to the sound system was closed. Showed my hand a bit there. She knows what I'm gunning for. Counselor, asking the court to accept that the building happened to be soundproofed is not the flawless argument you're making it out to be. The window in question opens to the alley. Rogers could have easily missed the noise coming out of it. Even though he already testified that he checked the alley before his partner shot the door open, he might have merely neglected to mention that he heard music at the time. Huh? Music in the alley? I would have noticed that kind of thing, right? Fast on the uptake, this one. I'm looking at this arcs from every angle I can, rotating cubes in my mind as fast as my programming will allow, and I'm still seeing a crime scene where the windows are open. What am I doing wrong? There's a trick to it. Try focusing on just a single cube first, once you've got one spinning consistently. Yes, Your Honor, the windows were found open. It's a contradiction. The windows were closed when the officers arrived, but open by the time Rogers got to the 3rd floor. That means that someone must have opened them. Someone not currently on trial, Your Honor. You should stretch before attempting mental gymnastics that intense, Counselor. You claim that the windows were originally closed and only opened at the last moment as some mystery individual fled down into the alley. But we know Creek was standing in front of those windows when he was shot. And we can see where his blood landed, on the sides of the windows that face into the room when open. If, as you claim, the windows were closed when he was shot, then his blood somehow ended up on the wrong side of the glass. Your theory is flawed, a far-flung fantasy with nothing other than Officer Rogers' poor hearing to support it. All the actual evidence shows that at the time of the murders, the windows were exactly as we found them, flung open. Her logic isn't faulty, and I can't overturn it without any given piece of evidence. But I can point out the flaw in how she's presented her evidence. Thank you for the advice about taking full advantage of arcs, by the way. But trust me, there's some things that are best understood by visiting the crime scene in person. What? Helps keep you from getting flipped around. Flipped around. I think it's this, right? Apologies, Your Honor. I'm just confused. Why is Miss Rockford talking about those windows? As if they swing open. What are you talking about? Those windows don't swing into the room. They're pulled to the side. What? Didn't you see the fingerprints that found on the handles? One look at that should tell you which side of the glass faces indoors. Funny, wasn't that in the arcs? Oh, this is some very chic interior design I'm seeing. Very wabi-sabi. So if the windows only slide parallel to the walls, it wouldn't matter whether they were open or shut when Creek was shot. The blood would always end up on the same side. Hey! I said I finally got the windows lined up right in the arcs. You didn't say that. At least, not aloud. Thank you for always listening, Sarah. But I said it just now, so whatever. What do you mean lined up? The blood splatter. Looks a lot nicer now, doesn't it? Yes, thank you, Your Honor. That is so inappropriate for an adjutant to do. But it's gotten us all on the same page. We can all reasonably conclude that the windows were closed when Creek was shot, at the very least. Yes. But when they were next opened is something you'll fight over, I'm sure. Now, if this ARCS data could just tell me whether the windows are actually soundproof, I doubt the ARCS could simulate that accurately for you, Your Honor. But if we re-examine the scene for that specifically, it should be simple enough to waste the court's time. Forgive me for repeating myself, Your Honor, but even if we prove conclusively that the windows were soundproof, the defense's argument still hinges entirely on the omission of one detail in the witness's testimony. Putting it another way, just because he didn't hear the music, that doesn't mean he couldn't hear the music because the soundproof windows were closed. The devil's proof. Yes, and you actually used it right this time. I did my reading. She's effectively conceded that the windows were soundproofed, but she's also shifted tactics. It's information I don't recognize. That's to be expected. I'm no general, but I don't need Makoto here to tell me that war is deception. So how about a little misdirection? Listen up, Sarah. The important thing about the devil's proof is that it's always on our side. The side of underdogs, lovers, and dreamers the world around. The side of the defense, innocent until proven guilty. That's what makes the devil so infuriating for the prosecution. The people make a fair point, Your Honor. There really isn't any hard evidence for my fleeing suspect theory at the moment. But the people haven't disproven it either, have they? Oh, listen to this, though. Oh, a little swingy, a little jazzy. I forget the exact details, Your Honor, but all we need is a shadow of a doubt, right? To overturn 5 dead bodies, the testimonies of 3 cops, and a room soaked to the floorboards in forensic evidence. Yeah. Have you lost your mind? Are you trying to piss off everyone here? Yes. Come on, you don't hate my theory that much, do you? I'm warming up to it. Then I'll stick to the facts for now. At the time Rogers and Chopin arrived, this front door was locked. The music was still playing at the scene of the crime, even if Rogers didn't notice it until stepping inside. And at the moment Creek was shot, at least, we can be certain the soundproof windows behind him were closed. Yes, those are the facts. Why are you restating them? Because there's something that's been bothering me. If we accept these as facts, one part of the Honorable Officer Rogers' testimony makes no sense. It's not this. It's been bothering me. If we accept these as facts, one part of the testimony makes no sense. Oh. If it was so thoroughly soundproofed, then they wouldn't hear the shots, right? That's gotta be it. Max bet. How could these 2 officers have set off in response to the sound of gunshots if the room was deafened at the time the gun was fired? I feel like I should have realized that way sooner. Now you go there? Oh crap, yeah. Wait, excuse me. What are you talking about? It's the very first thing you told us, officer. Your partner heard gunshots. But how is that possible? But he said it. He said it. Even on the radio, he called it in. True enough. I can see it right here in the police network's database. 9:45 p.m., Officer Tariq Chopin reports shots fired. So he did. And since we can't ask him to testify, we'll just have to take him at his word. But just to clarify, Officer Rogers, are you saying you never heard any gunshots yourself? Well, I didn't have my head out the window like him, so that's what you're trained to do, isn't it? Report anything you see or hear across the network? Well, one report is usually sufficient, but confirmation is always ideal, right? Yes or no, Officer Rogers? I never heard any gunshots. Hang on, are you really... So you never heard a peep, but your partner... He somehow managed to waltz you both over to exactly where 4 vicious murders had been committed, before anyone else got there. I just drove where he pointed, so... Counselor, you need to be very careful here. Thank you for your concern, Miss Rockford. But don't forget, I hate losing. Pardon? I said, but don't forget to direct your comments to the bench. You bring that up now? Every cop in the room already thinks I'm a mob lawyer at this point. Compared to that, mocking the memory of the deceased is small time. I feel like you're gonna say something shocking here, and I should stop you. But I can't really stop you before you say it, so... I'm just confused is all, Your Honor. How could Officer Chopin have possibly arrived at the scene of the crime when he couldn't have heard any gunshots? Unless he was asked to come there directly. Oh, like he got an Evite? Exactly. Officer Chopin answered a distress call. From the Blue Bloods. Tumult. Tell me, are those her usual tactics? Turning the entire city against her for no discernible reason? No. Well, the first time we met, she did, technically. Your Honor, the defense is completely out of line. Gallery is pretty poorly behaved too. You're gonna rein this in, or should I? Allow me. Tariq Chopin was an upstanding officer with no marks on his record. You say he was some kind of blue blood pawn, but he had to break into their building in order to enter. And you have the gall to claim he answered a distress call when there's no panic button, no phone records to suggest one was ever sent? True. True. That's all you have to say after posthumously accusing the son of 2 city councilmen of being corrupted by blue blood pocket change? It's a fair point. Chopin was the son of 2 city councilmen and by all accounts a dedicated police officer. He wouldn't work with the Blue Bloods without an unusually strong motive. The kind of thing that would make the headlines. What are you? Time to flex your media literacy. Uh-oh. What media literacy? Choose and present the article that shows a motive for Chopin to work with the Blue Bloods. Interesting. Remember, you can reread any articles you collected this episode in your phone. But you already read them front to back, right? Now I do. But do I remember them? Probably not. Which of the West target state data feds involved in Hunt? I don't think it's that. Convention. Political convention next month. Heightened security spending. City contract for Mercs. Maybe? Helium fuel. Distillation process leaked. Leaked on purpose. No. Ballot measures. Public schools. Assets. No. Renaming. It's either ballot measures or convention. Heightened security. Spending city contract for Mercs. I want to just say it's this. City Council's evaluating new security contracts to have next month's convention. And you think what? Oh, that the Blue Bloods on stock and the corporations involved? Oh. Never hurts to diversify your portfolio. Save the financial advice. Okay. Then I think it's this. Max bet again. Go. Officer Chopin would never compromise his well-documented morals for anything less than an earth-shaking opportunity. Yes, counselor, but his family is very well off. What could this earth-shaking opportunity possibly have been? How about a donation to his parents? I should have just checked it. I was being lazy. I'll be honest. What? Sidebar for a moment. What? How are you all thinking about voting? Oh, don't get me started. I'm a political junkie. What are you? Sorry, on the ballot measure specifically. Huh? Am I the only one who sweats over this stuff? Maybe it's old-fashioned, but I was hoping to hear some diverse, nuanced opinions on Proposition 492. Wait, but that's the funding of Atlas Pillar rejuvenation projects? I think it's a nice idea. Bringing prosperity to the lower wards, literal stability to everyone above them. And of course, the mother of all paydays to anyone lucky enough to own the land it will require. Wait a minute. You mean... you? Am I the only one who reads the news anymore? Wasn't counting on this being rhetorical, but... who on the city council is sponsoring Proposition 492? Chopin's parents? One last question. Less rhetorical this time. This crime took place at a known blue blood property. So why was this found there? Known blue blood property. Known only to richer criminals. Needles. Was it this? It wouldn't make sense if it's this. It wouldn't make sense if it's this. This is his data pad, so it wouldn't make sense for that to be the answer. I think it's this. I go all in. Highly confidential red ink documents are found underneath Chopin's corpse. They're almost entirely legible by now, but you can still make out a reference to P492 right here. That struck me as odd. Reinforcing the canopy. A state construction project that massive in the lower wards would mean even the police can't keep a crime scene secure down there unless they're willing to play ball with the blues. It would have to get past the blue bloods. Or through them, with open arms and firm handshakes. Just what the hell are you trying to say? Counselor Morgan, if you... Sorry, wasn't sure I actually had to spell it out, but certainly looks like Patrol Officer Tariq Chopin was working with the Blue Blood Mafia to defraud the city. Uh-oh. Yakito. She said it. She said that? What did you just say? Are you trying to piss off every cop and every politician in the city? Sorry, I'll gladly retract my statement. That is, as soon as any cop or politician or prosecutor can explain to the court how Tariq Chopin was able to arrive at this crime scene that night, when we all know damn well he never heard any gunshots. Gah. It is a bit of a pickle. What do you got for us, witness? What? I don't know. He had good ears or something. Or good intuition, or whatever. Your Honor, the simplest explanation is that Officer Chopin was tipped off by a CI that he neglected to inform his partner about. Is that CI? Yeah. Hey, Chopin wasn't a patrol officer with secret criminal informants that he'd hide from his own partner. Sounds horribly corrupt. And you called my comments inflammatory. Corrupt? You've got brass, all right. That's real rich coming from a mob lawyer. The Hound of Icaria! Big uh-oh. Your Honor, the witness' last statement was a regrettable slip of the tongue. Frankly, his entire testimony's been less than ideal, and so I'd already snipped the jury's feed, but the crowd... Seriously? He's the Hound? Uh-oh. But isn't the Hound that... cop killing animals? Knew that whole house stank like shit. Watch what you say about a man's family, you. Or what? You'll stab us in the back too? Sosuke, please calm down. And shut up. Bad apple, hang the whole house with him. Your Honor, these outbursts from the gallery are not ideal, but we need to focus on preventing... It's not enough you butchered him like that. Animals! You gotta pay this lawyer to spit on his grave too? At least the Blue Bloods know their place. How dare you? While you pigs were colluding with Blue Bloods to rip off everyone in the lower wards. Better a Blue Blood than the piss running in your veins. Sarah, hold him. Pardon? Stop him from doing anything stupid now. Okay, it was fun, but now you've ruined it. You're all done. This court is now in recess. Bailiffs, clear the room. It's not enough. Nah, I'm not done talking. I want to speak. Tell him, Rogers. This heat. Burn the house. My generic cop gallery voice. Tension like a haze in the air. Rip him out by the roots. On the back of my neck. Every last one! Should have taken you out when I had the chance. You beat a sweat and something that feels like... Uh-oh. No. Die, you son of a bitch! Behind us. Get down. What am I reaching for? I don't even have my gun. Hey, are you okay? Are you hit? Sosuke, I am not injured. The danger's gone, the heat of the moment replaced by the chill of a cold sweat on my lower back. But why did you push me down? What do you mean, why? Why did I take my time turning back to trace the bullet's trajectory? Vaguely, I'm aware of stomping feet as the crowd rushes to the exits, but the sound is far away. Reflexes. Sorry. You alright there, ma'am? I'm fine, Detective. Thank you. For a moment, I lock eyes with Detective Case in London. In that instant, I recognize a nameless flickering across his face, cold and sharp like frostbitten furs. Nameless. We don't need a word for it, because we only ever see it once. At the very end. Okay. Taking 60 seconds to yell into a couch pillow, so maybe now one of you could tell me what the hell happened out there. Oh. Oh. How did that man get into the courtroom? The building? And with a weapon like whatever the hell that was? It was his own arm, Madam Bowers. Or Barrows. Bowers. Brr. It's Melissa Barrows. Again, Superior Judge. She likes hot springs, cold beer, warm tea. Dislikes waking up before alarm. Cat person, I happen to be allergic. Mark answers yes. Never forgets a password shorter than 10 characters. Favorite season, fall. Modded illegally at some literal chop shop. Fully prosthetic, but fairly low tech. It uses a simple air intake system and projectiles made of enamel. Enamel? As in teeth? Where on earth do these people... Doesn't trigger any metal detectors. Looks organic from the outside. But if you're aiming at flesh, it gets the job done. And are metal detectors all that stand between a crazed gunman and the law of the land? No, Your Honor. We're looking into it now. But we already found some discrepancies in the personal files of courthouse security team members. He probably got his hands on a key card, lost, bought, or stolen, and had it modified to get him in the building. Would that work? Only needs to work once. This time, it did. I doubt he expected to leave alive, so... You ask me. We're lucky he's stuck with something more directed instead of an explosive. This is a nightmare. How am I supposed to do now? Or what am I supposed to do now? The jury must be horrified. I don't know how we could proceed. As I recall, the adjutant cut their feed the moment Officer Rogers mentioned the Hound of Icaria, so they didn't actually see the shooting. And by the way, how does a patrol officer know that my client is the lead suspect in that case? Would anyone like to explain that to me? Well, you have to ask organized crimes. But the mood around Rogers has been celebratory. I'd imagine there are plenty of cops eager to describe in detail what he achieved by catching Sosuke red-handed. Allegedly. There's no presumption of innocence in station locker rooms and cop bars, counselor. So the OC department buys Rogers a round of drinks, and 24 hours later I've got a shooter in my courtroom. Who was he? Shooter's been ID'd as Bowen Bresson, low-level muscle in the Blue Blood Mafia. Priors for possession, dealing, assault. Attempting to carry out an assassination in a courtroom full of cops is quite the step up. Any connection to Creek's pod? Meh. Older generation. Different part of town. Not exactly thick as thieves. So trying to execute Sosuke wasn't an act of revenge. He was given orders. Yes, that's very interesting, but it's a job for the police to handle. Counselor Morgan, assume you'll be filing for a mistrial? About that. I feel it's in my client's best interest for the trial to continue. What? A blue blood gunman just tried to shoot him. But the jury didn't see that. All they know right now is that they've been given a long lunch. You too? The goal, Your Honor, as I've always understood it, is for a defense attorney to do what's best for their client. Right now, clearly, the Blue Blood Mafia is convinced my client killed 4 of their men, and every cop in the city thinks he killed Officer Chopin. If he walks on a mistrial, he won't be able to walk down the street without getting shanked. Sosuke Ikaria doesn't need a mistrial. He needs a media blackout. I really hate that term. She's right, Your Honor. If the story spreads that the Blue Bloods tried to assassinate Sosuke, every juror in the city will assume he's guilty. We won't be able to find anyone over the age of 10 who hasn't heard of him, let alone put together 12 unbiased peers to judge him. Even if that's true, and even if it's possible, what you're asking for is... Detective, is the building still in lockdown? Standard procedure says to keep it that way another half hour. We would have to... The stands are full of police officers, and any one of them could... Ambulance chasers will pay prime for a story this rich. Someone's gonna break rank. We don't need the blackout to last forever. We just need it to be intimidating enough that the story doesn't leak until the trial's over. Which will be when, exactly? We could finish tomorrow. There aren't that many witnesses left on the docket. Finished? Tomorrow? Yes, Your Honor. Fine, yes, we'll have a blackout. Big, scary old blackout like we're the shadowy masters of the universe. Happy? Perfectly. Thank you, Your Honor. Detective, follow me. You'll need my authorization to activate the building's blanket protocols. Right behind you, ma'am. Surprised to be arguing for the same thing as you for once. Thanks for not gagging from the effort. Any other defense attorney in the city would have taken the mistrial. Dumped the Howland of Icaria on some other idiot's doorstep and cashed their check. Some other idiot, huh? Or is it that you can't dump him? You under house arrest already? I haven't felt threatened by them. That could change fast if you fail them. House Icaria are high society. Haven't you heard? And I'm beneath their notice. I don't think they'd bother to axe me just for underperforming. Sounds like exactly the kind of thing that high society types would do. Going this far for your client, though. You know me. Defender of the weak. Champion of the downtrodden. I'd go through a lot more than this to keep my face out of the papers. Hopefully, when the story does eventually leak, the focus should be entirely on Sosuke. But if this means people start recognizing me, remembering me, Bowen Bresson will be glad London did him in one. I'd twist the knife slow as a second hand if he's... I read it right. You okay? Compared to you, I guess not. I've never seen anyone get shot before. Oh. Right. Sorry. No, I'm sorry. That was... Maybe I'm feeling jealous. Spent all this time poring over crime scenes and diagrams, trying to get inside the head of heartbreak of all people, and maybe I get into my head that I'm some kind of unfeeling badass. Just to freeze up like a deer at the sight of actual violence. I need to get over that. Do you? Do you need to get over it? I have a responsibility. Prosecutor isn't a hangman, Emma. No. If the hangman does their job right, the neck snaps and the subject's dead before the pain ever reaches their brain. If I do my job right, Sosuke Ikaria spends the rest of his life drooling on himself while Megs haggle over the property rights to his gray matter. If you feel that bad about it, you could always recommend a lesser sentence. That's just the thing. I've never felt that bad about it at all. Runs in the family. The way she whispered it in that half-stuttering sigh. I'm not sure she even heard it herself. Alright, we're calling it there. It was a short stream. I think that's like pretty much exactly almost an hour. Oh. Did I say it right? Yeah, I did. Okay, cool. We'll call it there. We started late. It's a short one. Hey, we did a 4-hour whatever, 4-hour plus stream yesterday. We were due for a short one anyway tonight. The plan, tomorrow, Nier Automata. We won't start super late. That's a half guarantee by me. Thursday, no stream. Friday, we'll start early, and we'll do more of this. I'll make sure Friday night we don't do a short little stream, and we'll get this. Because like I said, I don't know if we'll finish this Friday night, but I would like it very much so that if we play enough on Friday night, then we're either Saturday or Sunday or even Monday for the 3-day weekend. We're within like one more stream of like a finale to it, basically. I would assume that's doable. I would assume that's very doable on our part. But Nier Automata tomorrow night is the plan. So thanks for popping by. Thanks for stopping by. Popping and stopping by, as I say. Short little 1 hour stream. Those are fun. A nice little trial segment too. We got it done in an hour. Cool. Next time we play this will be Friday. I keep repeating myself. Nier Automata Wednesday. Nothing Thursday. How far are we into May? What day is it? The 19th already? Ooh. Okay. Cool. All right. Thanks for stopping by. Until tomorrow night. Have yourself a nice rest of your night. Gotta beat it. Bye. 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 Bye.